And now, part 3. But first, a word from our sponsors. As featured on YouTube's Captain and Cat Captain's Corner, your child or student's heart will grow with the stories in Bagette's Balloon, a sweet adventure about kindness and the gift of giving. Perfect for ages 3 to 8, it gently introduces empathy, diversity, and real-life themes like aging, disability, allergies, and caring for our environment. Kids love spotting the color-changing balloon and joining the search for Bagette's lost cat. Comes with the magic of smile stickers, free downloadable kindness crafts and activities that will always be free in Bagette's Kindness Creative Lab. These make learning kindness fun, doable, and easy to fit into everyday play just like any other favorite activity. Features hand-drawn illustrations created without AI. Every page is filled with warmth and originality. Join the kindness mission and see how far a single act of kindness can travel. Visit Bagette.com, and that's BAJETTE.com, to access the book, kindness shirts, gallery, reviews, and always free activities in the Kindness Creative Lab. If you have a kindness idea or story, write to giving@Bagette.com to win a premium edition of Bagette's Balloon. You can really tell that this book was made with a lot of love. Get Bagette's Balloon. Do you have any props, any stuff from set? Like, I have one set of vampire teeth. What do you have?
No, I didn't take anything. The only thing I took was the T-shirt that I auditioned with you
Right,
in.
your T-shirt, right? Your actual
Yeah,
T-shirt.
yeah. That was the most messed up black T-shirt that I had. It was a rag. I almost never wore it. I just used it to mop up spaghetti sauce off the floor really at home. But it was the most punk rock, messed up black T-shirt that I had, and I auditioned in it. And then they wanted to use that for the show, so they kept it in their stock until the show came down, and I just took that back. But I just had my nose in the air at the time. That I used to hate actors that took my props or took my costumes.
Well, they offered the teeth to me.
And it's also a huge corporation. It's not some small theater that you're taking this stuff from. It's a huge corporation. They're just going to throw it out anyway. It's a whole different thing, but I hadn't put that together.
I have the best sort of bullet bra from Ed Wood. They were like, do you want it? I said, sure. If I'm playing a 50s character, I should take this. But the funny thing is they offered me wardrobe from Buffy and a bunch of other stuff that I said, no, what am I going to do with that? And obviously that would have been valuable. I'm just, as you know, you've been to my house quite a lot, and I'm not a pack rat. I don't keep things. I don't have tchotchkes. So I said no to a lot of stuff that was offered to me, but probably would have been good to take.
Yeah, they offered the coat, do you want to take the coat? And I was like, what am I going to do with the coat?
Right.
Like, am I going to wear it to parties and people think that I can't move on?
Yeah, I wore this so much and so many double of it and everything.
Can you imagine if you saw me out in public and I'm wearing the long leather coat? Like, what's wrong with him, Or am I going to put it on late at night and see if I still got the juice? That's fairly pathetic. No. Put it on a mannequin and let my friends touch it when they come over to my house. No. So I was like, I'm the one person who probably can never use a coat like that.
I always feel weird too, even with the stuff they give you. They just gave me a hat from Bosch Legacy. I feel weird wearing, I was in this show.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's nice, but I feel weird wearing it.
Yeah, I know. It has served its purpose, I guess. I remember I asked the props department for Torchwood, which was the spinoff of Doctor Who, because I had this really cool wristwatch, and it was leather and a flap, and it revealed this really cool time device that the thing sends you through time, basically. And it was a great prop. And I asked them if I could keep it. And the prop person goes, James, they will be available at Toys R Us very soon. And I'm like, okay. And then, sure enough, they were at Toys R Us, and it was a great prop.
Did you get it?
A fan gave me one, and
cool.
I still have it. It's arguably better than the one that I used.
On Bosch, they had this great pair of jeans, so I actually bought a pair like them. But when they came, even though they were the same size, they didn't really fit. So I texted the costumer and said, well, I got these exact jeans, but they're a different size. Is there any way we could swap so you're not out of your stock, the other ones fit me. And we did a meetup on a street corner. It was like hysterical of swapping jeans.
On Hawaii Five-0, I killed McGarrett's dad in the pilot, and then he shoots me at the end of the pilot. So I had this really cool jacket that I thought I looked so good in, and they blew it with squibs at the end of the episode. So there were holes in it. And I was like, guys, that jacket's kind of done, isn't it? Because I would like to keep it if you guys don't need it. And they're like, yeah, we have no use for it. I'm like, because you know what? I want to wear that to parties. And when people ask me about the hole, I'll be like, that's where McGarrett shot me. It'd be fun to do that. And then they had me come back after years. So I was on the first season, and then I wasn't in for the longest time. And then toward the end of that run, they had me back in a dream episode, and they didn't have the jacket. And I was like, I happen to have that jacket. They're like, you're kidding. You have that. We've been looking for it. Oh my God, please bring it to Hawaii. I'm like, no problem, man.
Amazing.
Yeah. And then they fixed it so well that you really can't tell if there's bullet holes anymore.
So now it doesn't work for your party.
Exactly. But it works as a jacket. It's a really cool jacket. I wear it all the time now.
That is awesome. What about your vampire prosthetic? Mine changed and was different than what was established for a lot of the second season. What about yours? Was it the same throughout?
Yeah, mine was the same throughout. In fact, when I went over to Angel, the one thing I said was, I am not going to get redesigned. David's was completely redesigned when he went on his own show, and it was much more blocky, and I didn't like the new designs at all. And I was like, it doesn't make sense that my bone structure would suddenly change. So that's the mold we're using for Spike. That's like a hard pass if you don't do that. Like that, I demand that. And they were like, whatever, James, fine.
And what was the longest you ever wore the prosthetic?
Oh my God. 12 hours?
Oh, I've got you beat. 16 or 17.
16 hours?
Yeah, I bet you did.
Was it comfortable? I found it to be comfortable.
It was comfortable, but not after that length of time. And it was, for me, I didn't wear it that often, but on Angel, there was a sequence where I had it for 17 hours. And there is a point where you have this undeniable urge to rip it off your face. And you are kind of like, I can't do that. I can't do that. But other than that, it was comfortable. The contacts were not comfortable for me.
In fact, doing stunts with the contacts and the teeth.
Yes. Well, try it with heels too.
Yeah, right. No, I didn't ever do that. I remember Steve Tartaglia was the other person who played Spike. He was the stuntman who also did.
He was amazing.
Oh my God. Genius maniac. I remember telling him, like, dude, the one thing you don't have to deal with is the eyes and the teeth, because when you put the contacts in, there's no peripheral vision. You're just in a tunnel vision situation. And when you take a punch, you have to clock peripherally where the fist is coming in so that you time it right and it looks like you're getting hit. There's just a million things flying around that you're trying to see so you can get the gag done. The other thing is when I'm falling down and things are brushing up against the mouth and stuff, you don't really notice. But when you put those really sharp teeth in, I would cut myself all the time. I'd have a bloody mouth because my teeth were very sharp. And I was like, that's one thing you don't have to deal with, dude. He's like, yeah, I just deal with everything else. I'm like, yeah, that's true.
Did you take them home ever and work with them? Because I did with the teeth.
I might have, actually, especially in the beginning. But then after a while, I had a certain way of talking in the teeth and a certain way of talking without the teeth. I don't really remember. I think I probably did, but not all the time.
It's funny you were talking about Angel and we were talking about props. When I came back for a particular episode of Angel, I wanted to bring my doll, Miss Edith, back, and they didn't have Miss Edith anymore. So it was a big hullabaloo, and the art department had to recreate and build a Miss Edith, which they did beautifully and ended up being fantastic. But it was wild because they couldn't find the original doll that we used.
Yeah, they had to rebuild my coat, my long coat, because Buffy and Angel were on different networks.
Mm-hmm.
So 20th sold the original coat to a collector. And then I remember they were so proud that they were able to build one that looked just like the original one. And I did not tell them, it looks fine, but you guys use the wrong kind of leather.
Oh.
And the new one is too thick. The other one floated in the breeze and moved in a certain way.
It did.
Yeah. And they used a heavier leather, but I didn't. I was just like, it's good. It's fine.
Do you remember going to watch dailies at the end of each episode, and we'd watch stuff and determine, okay, we want to keep this, we don't want to keep that. And then we'd also have those table reads season 2 because we'd get the scripts a week in advance. And so we'd have with the whole cast, which was really amazing besides us rehearsing. Do you remember all of that sort of glory days of that experience?
Yeah, I remember in the beginning it was probably good for me to see dailies. Now, I don't wanna watch dailies, just because when I'm acting, I am making choices that accounts for the editing, that accounts for the camera movement or the swelling music that's gonna be behind it, and my head is kind of thinking when you're reacting to the big event, and so they show the big event, and then it turns around and they see your reaction. Oh God, right? And there's going to be a big music, blah, 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 blah. And I found the best thing to do, knowing how it's going to be edited and all the pieces that are in, the best thing to do is go, oh God, do something very simple. Don't go, oh God, like that doesn't, right?
Well, yeah, it's always like playing also opposite when Drew says, we're going to destroy the world. Do you want to come? Not playing it with the mustache twirl. You do it as a whisper or subvert it.
Yeah. The thing is like at this point, I want to wait until all the pieces are assembled because I can't really judge if I did the right choice because the choice is predicated on all the other pieces that are going to be put in there. So,
But it was helpful in season 2 because I do remember us going, oh, yes, I want to do more of that. I wanted at that particular time period.
very much so.
Do you remember when we would be on set and sometimes we'd be like, oh, I don't think I did this as well as I would have liked to, or you did, and then I'd be saying, oh no, James, that was great. And you'd say, oh no, Julie, I think you're going to be happy. Like we'd kind of dissect the scenes as we were going along. I mean, after each take or after that sequence or scene was finished.
Yeah. And mostly it was after those feelings would come, the crew was decamping to the next set, and there was absolutely no way at that point to do anything again. Because before that time, we're all just like, okay, I like this, I like that. I'm going to try this in this next take. And we're working together trying to get the best take possible. And then when it's all over, I'm like, did I get there?
Because that was the thing too, because we rehearsed and then we would rehearse in between takes. We kept kind of working all throughout it.
Yeah. And this ongoing creative process. And then there's this horrible time when it's over and you don't get another chance at it. I was still coming into acceptance that that was what filming is. I was used to being on stage where you get 6 weeks to rehearse before anyone sees anything. And then you get a 6-week run where if you didn't get it that night, you can try again the next night. Like just this idea of memorizing your lines, walking in, having a blocking rehearsal, starting to film, you get 2 to 3 takes and you move on. And 14 million people were watching Buffy in the United States alone. That many people are going to see that,
You know what else is funny is that without realizing it, you and I sometimes stayed in our accents. And so I remember when we were working with Brian Thompson, and it was the episode where we assemble the judge and we're going to destroy the world. At the end of the day, we all of a sudden just were talking like us, and I hadn't realized that we hadn't been. And he said, wait a minute, what? Wait, you guys are not English? And it was funny because both of us were, oh, were we English all day? We hadn't even
we're
realized
English
that
if
we
you're
were.
paying us. Yeah.
So I guess we had stayed in all day, but without even consciously doing that. And Brian Thompson was floored at the end of the day, said, wait, oh my gosh, this is crazy. So that was funny. Do you remember the first time that someone recognized you as Spike, and what was it like?
I do not remember that.
Oh my God, that's cool though.
I do not remember
I
that.
don't actually remember the first time either.
Like, I just remember just being in it. Like when you're filming that long, you go there before the sun's up and you leave when the sun's out and you go to bed. And what I remember is the first posting board party where we hung out with fans for the first time. And it was just like pandemonium. So excited.
Yeah.
And that was the first time I was really clocking what the audience's
Me
reaction to
too,
this
because
was.
we were inside it. Like we weren't thinking about that. We were just thinking about the work that we were doing and trying
Yeah.
to do our
Like
best.
you get your food on the set. You're there for 12 hours, so you go home and you sleep. And then
Or 16, 17 hours often.
yeah, exactly, right? And
Yeah.
so there wasn't a lot of time of getting recognized.
Right. So do you think that you are the actor who has done the most conventions? I think you are.
No. I mean,
No?
I think the original Star Trek cast,
Well, they have a little bit of a head start on you.
well, they started back in the early 70s.
What I mean.
So, yeah, they have a
Yeah.
little bit of a head start. So I have a way to go to catch up with Shatner, Nimoy, all of those people definitely have me beat. But yeah, I'll catch him.
We have all shared on the show our high school as hell stories. That was the central metaphor in Buffy. Do you have a high school as hell story that you want to share?
I want to be honest about this because, I mean, really, we were talking about before, my freshman year of high school was not hell, it was heaven on so many levels. And then by the time I was back to Modesto in my sophomore year, I was oblivious. I was like, cast me out. Do not accept me. If you guys accepted me, if you guys invited me to your parties, I'd be worried. In fact, I was the one holding the best party in town.
What about grade school?
It would be junior high that was the worst. Grade school was not good either. I just remember this huge guy bullying me and just slapping me around and me not being able to do anything about it. I was just so much smaller than he was. And he was just sadistically just slapping the crap out of me. And it was almost worse that he wasn't punching me. I was like, punch me so I'll bleed. That would be a little bit cool, but you're just, ooh, it's worse that you're slapping me.
Was he in your grade?
Yeah, he was the biggest kid in school. Yeah.
And was it over a period of time or did he choose different?
No, it was just one time. It was just one time. I don't know why he decided that that was the day to do it. It wasn't that I was not confident in junior high. I probably had no reason to be confident, but I still was. I remember I wanted to look like the $6 million man, so I would have leisure suits and then the silk shirts, and I would put the collar of the silk shirt outside the collar of the leisure suit jacket, like Steve Austin. And I would strut, and I would think, Steve Austin. Oh my God.
How did that go over?
I don't know. I was oblivious. I was in my own fantasy, man. I'm sure the other kids thought it was funny, but I wasn't really
You didn't care.
caring about that. Yeah, I don't know.
And were there cliques in your school?
Yeah. I had the ability to kind of move between cliques. My main group in high school was the theater people, but I was also in with the dancers because I wanted to learn how to dance because I was a stage actor and you got to learn body control and dance is part of theatrical training. So
Yep.
I was in the dance club. They made fun of me for it, and I was like, "Dude, I'm hanging out with sweaty girls. I'm the only guy in the class. Get with it. Like, this is how you meet girls, like, just so you know." And then I was also in gymnastics. I actually was pretty good at rings, so I would compete. And,
Oh, wow.
the jocks kind of thought I was cool too.
I was the sit-up champion of my grade school.
Yes. I could see that. You're
I
still
had
ripped.
abs of steel.
Yeah. Yeah.
I was a dancer, but I wasn't athletic in terms of PE, so I had to have an area. I was hell-bent on that.
Hell yeah. Carve out your place. Definitely. But yeah, I ended up getting cred because my parents would leave almost every weekend to go out on an extended date. And we would have massive parties at our house. And all of our neighbors were cool. And they never called the cops. And we just had insane kegger parties at my place.
Did your parents know? Did they ever find out?
This is the thing. Like, all my friends went on to be doctors and lawyers and stuff. And they were very smart. So they would all show up crazy hungover Sunday morning and clean that house and fix that house. So by the time my parents got home, the house looked better than when they left. They would just say, "The house looks amazing. It's better than when we left." And they weren't stupid. Like, they must have known what was going on. But I guess that they thought, as long as the house looks good, let them go.
And you were happy and healthy and safe when they got back?
I wasn't, but it looked like I was. I mean, those were crazy parties. I remember one time, one of the jocks, when he was dancing crazy and he was jumping up in the air and he punched a hole in the ceiling in my parents' bedroom, right? And by this time, I had all the cred in school because I was the master of the best party ever. And it was every weekend. So, like, you don't want to mess with James. So I was like, "Dude, you are coming over and you are going to fix that because my parents are going to be laying in bed staring at this every night. You've got to fix this right. Make it good or you are never coming back here." And sure enough, man, 7 a.m., the guy shows up. He's hurting. He's hungover. He's got all the tools and he patches it up and they never caught us.
Oh my gosh, it's good he knew how to do that.
Thank God. Yeah, because we didn't. We would do horrible things because we didn't necessarily like our football team. They're pretty good. They won a lot, but we weren't football players and we were not really down with the fact that you had to be a football player to be cool. So we would have a really pretty girl hit on like the quarterback or the running back, like a really important player in the beginning of the party. And then when all the other options had been taken, dump him
Oh my gosh.
so that the next game he would be depressed and that they would lose the thing. Oh
Oh
my
my
God.
God. Did they ever do that back to you on stage before you were opening it to play? No.
No, no, didn't dare.
Oh my gosh. Did anyone ever call you Jim or Jimmy, or have you always been James?
No, I was Jimmy early in life. And then when I was probably 9 years old, I decided to be Jim, like my dad. And I made a big deal out of it. And within a few months, I realized that's not me either. I think I'm James. I think I'm James. And I said, I'm not Jim anymore. Now I'm James. And at that point, they were like, oh, come on.
We've just gotten used to calling you Jim.
Yeah. And so what I did is I just would not recognize anything but James. They could call Jim all day. And I'd be like, oh, you want me? Oh, I didn't even hear it. What do you want? And I just passive aggressively just forced them to call me James. They were angry.
Do you still turn around if someone says Jimmy, or does that not happen?
No, I've been James for so long. I just assume that's somebody else.
If you hear Spike, you do turn,
Oh, yeah.
unless it's in some place where it seems like it's
Or
inappropriate.
if someone's like,
Yeah.
come on, Spike. Come on, Spike. Then that's probably the dog, but yeah.
Right. But it's wild how you do get trained for your characters where you turn because it's just become a part of you. So who was your high school crush?
Well, my first girlfriend was Kelsey Jacobson in freshman year, and she was a year older than me.
Oh.
And I remember she broke up with me because I was getting the sense that she wanted to go further than I was prepared to go. She was 14 and I was 13, and I was willing to go fairly far, but I think she wanted to go all the way. And I wasn't capable at that point of even thinking of going that far. And she broke up with me and dated a junior, so someone a year older than her. And then I remember that after a few months, she came back and wanted to kind of reignite our romance. And I was like, no. But she probably found out what she wanted to find out. And then she was like, actually, James is pretty nice. I think I'll go back to that. I was still angry, so I didn't go back to that.
Were you heartbroken?
I was pissed off.
You were pissed.
I was kind of like her loss. Yeah. Like nobody else was wanting to date me. I didn't date anybody after that. I probably could have gotten someone to date me just because I was fairly popular for that year. I guess I missed out. Yeah. But I was focused on theater, man.
Have you felt like an outsider in your life? Someone trying to fit in different periods of your life?
I have felt like an outsider who wasn't trying to fit in for most of my life.
Were you ever trying to fit in? Ever?
No. Well, let me be really honest about this. I think I was probably trying to fit in until my sophomore year of high school. I got a taste of where I fit in Marin County, and then I went back to Modesto, and I was like, I don't fit in here, and thank God I don't fit in here. And then I tried to fit in at Juilliard in the beginning. I've always tried to fit in on set because the whole point is that we're a group of people who are going to work together to create something beautiful. So it's very important.
It's important to show up also on time and prepared and be ready to do your job.
Yeah, all of those things.
Yeah.
And work well with others. But then outside, I've always kind of felt like, well, that's kind of the artist's perspective. We're kind of outside the normal experience of people. It allows us to kind of look at the culture from afar. And sometimes we can see things that other people may not notice because they're in the middle of it. And I think that's useful. I guess I've had enough people around me who were in the same place that I also had community, but I felt lonely in that. But I've always felt like kind of an outsider. It's okay, you know?
Who is the best teacher you've ever had from any period of your life, and who was the worst teacher?
I've had a lot of good teachers. Ms. Barr, senior year of English. I forget his name, but this man who taught nothing but war. He was the 20th century conflicts. He was the ex-jock of the high school in Marin County, and he was a clown. He walked like weird, but he was very smart, and he loved war. There's a lot to learn about the 20th century if you just study the wars of the 20th century.
Yes.
It really did shape a lot. So he was good. Ken Adair in high school too taught me a lot about government. Art Hartley taught history in my senior year. He had a toupee and he would lecture in front of the class with his eyes closed.
Oh,
He looked so weird. He was a weird dude, but a genius. When he opened his eyes, if anybody wasn't looking and paying attention, he would just hurl a book at their head.
oh my goodness.
Pay attention. And this is back in like 79.
I don't think that would wash now.
Probably not now, but boy, you paid attention in arts class. I mean, and what they all shared was they demanded more of me than I wanted to give. I was mad at them at the time
But they stretched you.
and taught me that if I want to grow, I got to be willing to do stuff I don't want to do. If I want to grow, I have to be outside of my comfort zone. And I don't learn when I'm comfortable and pleased. I usually only learn when I'm uncomfortable and displeased.
And then, as far as a worst teacher, would it be one of the teachers at Juilliard, or would someone else?
Across the board, yes, but I don't want to focus on that. There was a geometry teacher in my sophomore year of high school who was the union leader, and she was horrible. She would just give the lesson plan at the beginning of the day and then fade back and do her union work in her office, and you'd have to figure it out. I remember thinking, I can read the book myself.
Right.
All you're doing is saying, this is the beginning, and she would read what was in the book. You're doing nothing. Nothing.
Right. She wasn't teaching in any way.
Yeah, at least the people at Juilliard were trying. I mean, they were wrong about what they were doing, but at least they cared. They were just off the beam. Apathy. There's enough apathy in the world. I like people who care about something, even if I disagree with them, as long as there's some passion about what you're doing.
It's one of the things I love about movie sets and TV sets and theater is pretty much everybody you encounter wants to bring their A game, do the best at their job, and is filled with passion.
And I forgive sometimes that leads to conflict
Mhm.
because people are so passionate.
Mhm.
It's so personal. What they're trying to achieve is so personal. When that comes in conflict with what someone else is trying to do, you can get arguments. And I guess I've lived in that environment enough that I know that that's okay. It's okay when people, wait a minute, that's not how it should be done. I'm like, that's passion, man. It's okay.
Buffy has the weight of the world on her shoulders. Have you ever felt like you have had the weight of the world on your shoulders? Are there different times in your life where you felt like that?
Yeah, parenting. Especially because I didn't have a lot of good parenting. I did hire good therapists when I was a parent. One of them's told me once, most of the work that I do, James, that really helps is not with the child. It's actually with the parents, because most problems that children have is because of bad parenting. And I was luckily honest enough with myself to say, you know what, I do need help. So yes, let's talk and help me be a better parent. And that, more than anything, I think is one of the big reasons my kids are doing so well now. But yeah, parenting was just constantly feeling like I was in over my head, constantly not knowing what to do, being so jealous of people who had good parents, and they just kind of do the thing that's normal.
Right.
And it works out great. They don't have to even think about it because they're just doing what was done. And I was having to MacGyver it the whole time.
Did you always know that you wanted to be a father?
No. I never really thought about it until my first wife. We were in our early 30s, and she said, you know what, if we're going to have a child, we should do it now. And I was like, okay.
Oh my gosh.
Like, yeah, you're probably right. Yes, we're at the age where if we're going to do it, we probably should do it. So let's do it. And we were so poor. We had no money at all. We had no business. We just leapt and did it. And I remember I was watching my son get wiped off on the birthing table, and I heard the voice of God. And God told me, go to Los Angeles and prostitute yourself. You decided to be a poor theater actor. You've been having the time of your life, but this young man did not make that deal. You have got to try to make money now, Dad. We did this Hail Mary pass. We did this insane idea that I could come to Los Angeles and make a living. Because it was logical, because it was the only market where you could make dad money and act. That's the only town in America where you can make enough money to be a parent, really. As an actor, I've done fairly well in a couple of guest spots. But I mean, the odds were that it was not going to work out.
Yeah. Don't you think that being an actor really does take that leap of faith and that sort of optimism and that desire where you're just going to do it because it's who you are?
Yeah, almost like it's not a choice. I had a member of the Berkeley Shakespeare Company sit me down when I was 17 years old and explained to me, tried to talk me out of acting, and just said, if you choose acting, you're choosing poverty. And you can't get in this thinking that you are going to come to a lot of money or fame or acclamation or anything like that. You are not going to get that. And you have to love acting so much that the harsh life that you are choosing is worth it. It's got to be the love of doing it that makes up for everything else. Because I got to tell you, in your 20s, all of the harsh life is kind of romantic, but by the time you're 50, it's not going to be romantic anymore. And I just kept pushing back. And finally, after an afternoon of trying to get this message through to me, he just went, well, I guess you belong with us. Like, you poor fool. I mean, and psychologically, there really wasn't anything else for me to do. I mean, if I wanted to not go crazy, there was only one avenue that I'd ever discovered, and that was acting. So yeah, it was the only logical thing, and poverty was certainly worth that.
What is the best date you've ever had, and what is the worst date you've ever had?
I have almost no experience with dating, I'll be honest, because I married my high school sweetheart. I was true to her. We were together for 17 years, and then it broke up, and then within 3 months, I was on Buffy.
And you were with Liz then.
I was with Liz, and we got together. We were doing The Tempest together.
But you were not naked this time.
I was not naked this time. Nope, I wasn't playing that same character. I was playing Sebastian. And so that wasn't really dating necessarily. We got to know each other as coworkers and then grew from there. I can't really think of a lot of dates that I've been on. Yeah. Isn't that weird?
Can you tell me about Ghost of the Robot's new album?
I'm very excited about it. We are almost done, but we're stuck on one song.
Oh, why?
Because the bassist, Kevin, is writing songs now, and he's writing some of the best songs. He wrote a song called San Francisco on the last album, and it's one of the best songs we've ever done. It's fabulous, well-constructed song. So he's got 2 on this current one that we're working on. He is very particular about how he wants me to sing his songs, and I'm not used to that. I'm used to singing my own songs. The other people who were writing songs that then I was singing them, they would just let me do whatever I wanted to. They just let it up to me. But Kevin is very specific. And I'm so far not able to give him on this one song. I was able to do it on the other song. There's a very specific rhythm that he's looking for that I can't get. And we're finding out if I'm as good enough singer that he needs.
You'll get it.
Yeah, maybe. But I mean, like, as an actor, I can make those micro adjustments. I'm fine with all of that. A director can give me little tiny things and I'm good.
So are you frustrated right now that you're not able to?
With myself, yeah. It is frustrating. Yeah. Because I'm a better actor than I'm a singer. I'm not bad as a singer, but I mean, let's face it, I pursued acting. I'm on a professional level. I'm at one level as an actor, and I'm not there as a singer. And it may be that he needs a singer that's up at a higher level. I don't know. We'll figure
If
it out.
that happens, would you replace the song or have a different singer come in for the album? Like, how would you?
Well, we have 2 good singers in the band. You know, Sullivan's a good singer too. If he wants to try it, good, do it. Maybe that he's able to do it in a way that I can't, you know? He's a better musician than I am, generally speaking, so that may be the way to go. Otherwise, it would have to be dumped, and it's really just that song. So, the other exciting thing is that Sullivan and I are writing together, and so he will just start playing interesting chords, and then an idea for melody comes to me, and before long, we've sussed out all the melody, chorus, bridge, verses. I mean, it's so organic. And then we've really started to write lyrics together, which is very personal. And it's very interesting to write lyrics with your son because it leads to very personal conversations about life experiences. It's really cool to get to know this man as a man. And the first thing that we have to do when we start writing lyrics is like, okay, whose life are we using here? Is this coming from me or is it coming from you? We discover that, and then everything follows from that. It's become this really organic process that is really exciting. I think that we've like 5 or 7 songs. The stuff that Sullivan and I are writing now is not even on this current album that we're almost done with. We're writing songs for the next album.
And
Yeah.
how do you guys work? If you're in the same location, you work together. Do you also work virtually?
Yeah, but this last batch of songwriting happened when Sullivan was visiting for the holidays. It's better when you're in person.
What is some of the best advice you've ever been given?
Don't take yourself so damn seriously. If I can't laugh at myself, then I'm missing the best joke in the universe. It's okay to be a clown. It's okay to admit that all human beings are kind of these sad, dear, lovable clowns, and we're all stumbling around trying to figure it out. And it's fun to notice that. Just don't take yourself so seriously. You're just stumbling around, man.
And did someone give you that advice?
Yeah, it comes from a few different places. I did hear somewhere, don't take yourself so damn seriously. And that kind of dovetails with one of my favorite playwrights, which is Anton Chekhov. He's a Russian playwright. And he wrote The Cherry Orchard, Uncle Vanya, and other plays. He thought his plays were comedies. He wanted to laugh.
They are, though. The Seagull, there is a lot of humor in the Sturm und Drang of the plays.
Right?
Yeah.
And he was so frustrated because Stanislavski was directing them. He was so certain that they were dramas and they were not to be laughed at. And he couldn't get Stanislavski to direct them the way. And I think that now we are gravitating more to what the author knew was true the whole time, which is this is funny stuff. Because human beings are funny. And when I really dig into Chekhov, my heart grows and I just love everybody. And even in all of our mistakes and all of our how we step on each other's toes and we lie to each other because we're ashamed of something and we just make mistakes, and all of it, we're just these lovable, sometimes sad clowns. And we're kind of funny if you look at it in a certain way. And I'm one of those clowns, and it's okay.
What would you tell our listeners is something that you do that they maybe could adapt or adopt when they're having a bad day?
If I could give myself advice to a past self, whether it's myself yesterday or last week, last month, last year, 20 years ago, 50 years ago, it always would be the same advice, which is, it's going to be okay. Whatever you're worried about right now is either not going to happen, or if it does happen, it's not going to be as bad as you think it's going to be. I'm sitting here and I survived everything that's happened. Actually, it's really, really good now. So relax. It's going to be okay. And I was worried about something yesterday. Oh my, you should have seen me. I wound up about something. You come today, it's been okay. You know, someone said most of my problems die of neglect. Like, chill out, man. Like I was thinking, Cook, the explorer, who was the first white man to sail to Hawaii and those other islands in there. He ran up against all of these wonderful cultures that were very relaxed, right? Because they had enough fish in the sea. They had enough coconuts. They had enough pineapples. The earth was kind. It was temperate. You didn't have to build structures to protect yourself. They had it good and they knew it. And it was so wonderful, so much like paradise. He had a hard time getting his crew to get back on the boat. It would be like a low-grade mutiny all the time. Time to go. No, we're staying. And I was thinking, if I was in one of those cultures with my brain, maybe I would be hoarding coconuts or starting a pineapple war or like trying to find out how I could get rich on fish. Would I have the wisdom to realize how good I have it and just relax and admit the times are good? And would I play music and talk to my children and enjoy the sunset? I hope I would. And then I thought, I actually have it easier than those cultures. I have enough food. I have shelter. I have things that they didn't have. I can relax, or I can just enjoy this if I choose.
That's beautiful. And it's also that thing of living in the moment. Because if you were going to be hoarding the coconuts, you're anticipating something that we might not even be here for.
Yeah.
It's about embracing the moment and the joys when they come as well.
Yeah. There's a Buddhist who said that if I come into the moment, into the present moment, there is an overwhelming evidence to be happy. There are so many excuses to be happy if I just come into the now.
Well, James, this has been absolutely delightful. It's been so much fun hanging out with you. I cannot wait for everyone to hear all of your stories, all of the stuff that you shared. And I really look forward to when you come back again and we get to talk about later seasons of Buffy and your later work and your life. You have just been extraordinary.
Thank you. It's been a real pleasure. Always hanging out with you is a pleasure, but you're also a really good interviewer. Yeah.
Fantastic. Well, thank you. And I will see you soon.
You got it.
I'm excited to tell you about our Re-Vamped with Juliet Landau podcast sponsored Halloween
Online event with me.
And me.
Me and Drew, we're moving in.
Look at all the people. All these nice people. Yes, Drew, it's all the folks we're hanging out with on Halloween. We will be watching 2 classic Buffy episodes, School Hard and Halloween.
There will be interviews with me.
And me.
And Todd McIntosh.
As well as an interview with Jerry Baker.
Makeup and hair department heads in honor of dressing up.
And an online cosplay contest judged by myself, Saya Rebecca.
And me.
The link for tickets is julietlandau.dreamhosters.com. You can come for 1 day or get the 2-day combo. I hope to see you there.
Let's get ready to Buffy!
If you want to be considered as a contender for this season's trivia battle, please email revampedpod@gmail.com. Yes, be sure to include your name, where you weigh in with your number of watch-throughs, where you're located, something interesting about you, or something you think would be good to share.
And your social media handles.
Yes, woohoo! Woohoo! Boop boop be Drew. Revamptees, please correspond with me on our Patreon page, Revamped with Juliet Landau, on Twitter, @JulietLandau, on Instagram, @Juliet_Landau, and on the Fans of Juliet Landau Facebook group, or Juliet Landau official Facebook page. Patreon peeps to be read in the credits: Dave Hall, Fonnie June Kendall, Daniel Harbour, Louise Brennan, Brandon Key, Cameron Burton, Donnie Ruskin, Madeline Pruitt, Marion Stevenson, Antonio H. Gutierrez, and Bobby Pelham. It makes all the difference because we cannot keep making the show without you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Until we meet again.
See you next time when we do it again. Do it again. Until then, rewatch, revamp, reinvent, and be remarkable you.